So is it natural spring feed this?
No, I pump out of the lake.
Ah, okay.
It's on a timer.
Okay, is it because he can't see what's?
Well,
is that why he thrashes
right above their snout.
They can't
yeah, they're
see.
kind of cued to when something touches their mouth to just go sideways.
Sean, how's their hearing? Is it good?
Really good. Matter of fact, I'll guarantee you by sight, they can tell the difference between everyone here and by their voices. Okay. Until Jen, my wife, got accustomed to coming back here, and I would tell her, look, you've got to talk to these animals. When she would come back and say something to me when I was here, they'd all dive into the water and hide. And just talking.
They didn't know her voice.
To the voice.
Yeah. They didn't recognize her voice.
And I will guarantee you that crocodilians can recognize facial features.
Really?
Guaranteed.
That's awesome. Yeah.
They get accustomed to the bucket, the color of buckets, hats, facial hair.
So don't shave?
I know. Well, I know. I shaved all this off one time and came out here with a hat on, and they went in. They didn't bolt into the water, but they went into the water, which was atypical. Because if they're up on this bank and I'm by myself, I can step over them. I can sit down beside them. I can pat them on their tails, and they'll like open an eye and look at me like, "What are you doing?" But it's amazing. You know, you think about it. They're an apex predator. You know. Their whole thing is laying out patterns of behavior, voice recognition, and in this case, evolutionary sound recognition. And they're...
You're way off there. You're way off.
Get it? But, you know, I've been working with crocodilians forever, it seems like, and they still impress me on a day-to-day basis. It is impressive. I mean, Tripod learned his name in less than a month. And that's after having his foot cut off, you know, which I mean, he didn't get it just like lopped off with a machete, but it was surgically removed. But even so, it's traumatic. And coming to a new enclosure, totally new home, new sights, new sounds, new, you know, caregivers. And in less than a month, he's learned his name, and to be able to come out and do, you know, that's pretty trusting and pretty keen, you know. Not all crocodilians are so. But there you go. How did two little mice get in there? We'll leave there. I've got a big monster soft-shell turtle in here.
Part of the reason they don't want to come out of the water is because it's hot.
These guys? Yeah. No, they'll come right out and sun themselves in the heat of the day.
It's because there's people in here.
And I'll tell you something. You know, if you've been following the albino, whole thing is these guys can get terribly sunburned. Terribly sunburned. So everybody was like, you're out of your mind putting them in this exhibit. And when I first put them in there, I had, you see that nail on top of there, I had a tarp going across this because this is where all the sun is. And then I started to notice after we had this massive wind that tore my tarp off and sent it over there, that they'd come up here and the worst that would happen is they'd flush a little bit. And I knew somebody who had them get sunburned so bad pieces were sloughing on them. Okay. Come here. Hey, you got one more piece. And you know, I started to watch them and they never burnt. And they never burnt. And they never burnt.
There he is.
And my hypothesis is that you see how much dirt he's got on him?
Yeah.
That dirt and sand is a natural sunscreen on them. They dig, they've got a cave back here. That whole peninsula, they can go side to side in a massive cave. They've got a cave right here under this. And the individual that had the really bad sunburn had them in clear tubs with crystal clear water.
Oh, nothing to hide in.
And now since they've let that water algae over, they don't get sunburn anymore.
They know.
So I think the sand and the dirt just provides a natural sunscreen. You'll see the little bit of orange on them.
Yeah.
That's a little reaction to the sun. They get it in the summertime, but they'll lose it in the winter. And when they lay up here, they'll get a little pink, just a little bit of flushing, but just same as you do. I mean, I'm Irish Scottish. I lay here, I get pink too in like 10 minutes.
That's it.
But you're a good boy. That's all I got. Stop. No. No. You're a good boy. But you know, so we're learning some stuff. A lot of the AZA zoos will not put these guys in natural enclosures in the sun, because they, rightfully so, they've seen, but they haven't bothered to dissect and figure out what really's happening. And you know, one of the things for me is my whole goal was these aren't display animals. These are breeders. These animals are designed and purchased to screw. I mean, that was the sole intent. And the best way to do that for crocodilians is in natural exhibits. And, you know, I mean, she had that bubble eye when I got her, and, you know, we're like, oh, well, maybe you don't want that. And I was like, why? Does that have any bearing on whether she'll have sex? And the answer is no.
But will it have any impact on the offspring?
No, that's what we're finding is that that's an injury. That's a physical injury.
Okay.
Normal gators have it. It's just normal gators, you know, when you look at a normal gator, things don't stand off. If you saw that wound on a normal gator, you'd think, oh, that's a bad wound, but it ain't that big a deal. Yeah. Every little scratch is magnified on these hides because they're, you know, I mean, I'll take him out, not like on a regular basis, but I've, you know, scrubbed him down for pictures, soaked him up, you know, got him all nice and clean. And you start to see things on their hide that you'd never see on a normal gator. It just disappears. But these are my kids. Good boy.
Now all three of them are still in here?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is the first time. A lot of people said that a 1.2 breeding scenario could not take place with gators in a setup like this. So, this is the first time albinos have bred in a 1.1, 1 male, 2 females. And a lot of people said that just straight up normal gators couldn't be done like this. I've never done anything but 1.1. A lot of people either do massive quantities and huge, you know, 50-acre lakes, or they do one-on-one setups like this. A lot of people haven't tried because you do get some problems. I mean, even though that's a one-off injury, that could have been pretty bad. Yeah. You know, a little deeper, and she could have been into the spinal column.
And that was from the other.
That was from the other girl. You know, but it's one of those things. If you're going to breed animals, name 2 dogs.